Hi everyone and welcome to another obscure Asian story. South Korea is widely considered a beacon of prosperity in Asia and a consolidated democracy, yet, beneath the surface, the freedom of expression seems to be on a downward spiral, trailing behind its regional counterparts. One of the biggest issues appear to be the national security constraints that muzzled free speech. And if you don't believe me, we should try asking Lee Yoon-sup, a 68-year-old man now in jail, and his crime, writing a poem in praise of North Korea. You might think this is a tale spun from the North Korean narrative, but it's not. It is a story generally not associated with the prosperous democratic southern neighbor. In 2016, Lee wrote a poem praising the North Korean regime and won the contest held by North Korea's state website 우리 민족끼리. How did lawmakers react? The court said, the defendant has produced and distributed a significant number of subversive expressions that represent North Korea's position, glorify and praise it, and threaten the existence and security of the country or the basic liberal democratic order over a long period of time during the period of repeated offenses. So it is inevitable that he will be severely punished. This isn't the first time Lee has been in trouble. However, the idea that his older man is a danger to South Korea is ridiculous. His poem was posted on a North Korean website, which South Koreans are not allowed to access. In his writing, he suggested that if both Koreas were united under North Korea's socialist system, everyone would have access to free housing, healthcare, and education. It's unlikely that his naive poem would convince anyone of North Korea's leader's greatness. This poem simply lists problems in South Korea that the poet believes Kim Jong-un would solve immediately if given the opportunity. The real issue seems to be that Lee actually believes what he wrote. The National Security Act, NSA, is meant to shield South Korea from spies and traitors. It also prohibits South Koreans from visiting North Korea, consuming its media, or praising Kim Jong-un's oppressive rule. Despite transitioning from a military dictatorship to a democracy in 1987, South Korea still has some restrictions on free speech, showing remnants of its autocratic past. Every nation has laws against espionage. South Korea's laws are particularly strict, which is understandable given that its capital is within missile range of a nuclear-armed dictator who considers it his main adversary. The NSA was based on a law meant to suppress pro-independence movements during Japan's occupation of North Korea from 1910 to 1945. Since 2003, there have been over 60 NSA prosecutions per year on average, often for obvious cases of espionage. For example, a businessman and a military officer were arrested for allegedly selling military secrets to North Korea. Soldiers in the South have also been charged under the act of spreading pro-North propaganda and undermining morale. The National Security Act is frequently used to target satirists and leftists, often leading to absurd cases. For instance, a PhD student named Kim Myung-soo was sentenced to 6 months in jail and a 2-year probation for selling North Korean books that are easily found in public libraries. A South Korean woman received a 2-year probation for owning 14 North Korean songs. In contrast, a man who sold shirts featuring a smiling Kim Jong-soo with a supportive slogan was not investigated because he was just trying to make money. These incidents highlight a wider authoritarian trend in South Korea. Its president Yoon Suk-yeol regularly labels his political rivals as anti-state forces, a term borrowed from the NSA. Negative media coverage is often branded as fake news, and media outlets have been raided. The current administration has sued more media organizations for defamation in Yoon's first 18 months than any of the previous 3 administrations did in their full 5-year terms. Even a more progressive government is unlikely to remote the NSA's oppressive clauses. No government has seriously considered revising it in the past 20 years. As Stephen Denny and Christopher Green of Leiden University note, there's little political will to abolish the law. The current administration briefly considered allowing South Koreans to access North Korean media, but recently dropped the idea. The opposition Democratic Party, which once tried to pass a similar law criminalizing praise of Japanese colonial rule, is no more progressive. President Yoon often speaks about South Korea's democratic values, which are central to his vision of the country as a bridge between East and West and between developed and developing nations. For this reason, he should take these values more seriously. While South Korea is a democracy, it's not very liberal if it imprisons elderly men for their eccentric views. Reforming the NSA would be a more effective response to Lee's sentiments than banning it. However, the Article 7 at the center of the NSA that bans praising or propagating activities of any anti-state organization and possession or distribution of pro-enemy materials was once again ruled constitutional for the 8th time on September 26, 2023. Lee had previously spent 10 months in prison for a similar act. In 2013, he posted online comments applauding North Korea's armed forces and continued to post content against the state on South Korean blogs and websites in the following years. While his grounds for incarceration may seem strange, he was indeed trying to destabilize his existing government. However, the actions he took hardly made him an immediate threat to the status quo, and they don't necessarily warrant such extreme reactions from the Korean government. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time, and thanks for watching!